Okay, it's 1:45. Committee members, are we still all on the line?
Madam Chair, I'm on the line. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Honorable Vince James, Honorable Eugene So, are we back on the line? Honorable Vince James, Honorable Eugene So, are you back on the line? I'm going to call again. Honorable Eugene So, Honorable Vince James, are you back on the line?
Sorry, I was on mute. Delegate James on the line.
Okay, with that, we do have a quorum. Sherelle, because we just came back from a short recess, let's go ahead and just do a real quick roll call vote so that we have it on the record. Thank you.
Okay, roll call. Honorable Madam Chair, Eugenia Charles Newton.
Charles Newton is present in Window Rock, Arizona.
Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton, Madam Charles Newton is present. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate James present.
Honorable Vince James is present. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Otto So.
I am present. I am en route to Window Rock, Arizona. Thank you.
Honorable Otto So is present. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton, you have 3 members present.
With that, that does constitute a quorum. So we took a short recess to allow Dana Bobroff to call in. Dana, are you on the line?
I am on the line, but I have no idea why I'm calling in. So somebody will have to recap the question.
Okay, really quickly, Dana. So the question is, I know that there was a mistake on the legislation. RDC was mentioned instead of Law and Order Committee. And so Honorable Otto So said that you sent an email out mentioning that mistake that had to be corrected. My question was, does that correction have to be, is there a letter supposed to be coming from the Speaker's office to make that correction? Or can we just add that email into the legislation as a, maybe as an exhibit, and then offer an amendment to change the title of the legislation? Thank you, Dana.
Madam Chair, I do not, my understanding is the Speaker took the steps necessary to reassign the legislation away from resources and development to put it into Law and Order. So I don't think there's any reason to attach the email or even that discussion. All you need to do is do the amendment to change the title. So instead of saying Resources and Development Committee, it says Law and Order. That's all that's necessary. After that, it's assigned to the right committees and such. We would have done it ourselves, Legislative Council, but it all goes back to the signature sheet. The sponsor had already signed it, and we didn't want to have to go through that process again. So just a simple amendment. I think Ms. Tapaye sent it out. It's on page 1, line 12. Delete Resources and Development, add in law and Order, and you should be good to go.
Thank you, Dana. So the problem is we haven't seen that letter from Speaker's office. That's why we're asking those questions.
I think that what does the and I don't have and can't get the legislation up in front of me right now. I don't have the possibility to do that. But in the right-hand corner of the legislation, where it sets forth the assignments, what does it say?
It's
maybe
the right hand. Oh, Angie, can you read that into the record for Dana?
I'm sorry. You mean in the right hand, the committee assignments?
Yes.
Okay. The first one that I got this copy from Lorraine Spencer, and it has Resources and Development Committee sent, Budget and Finance Committee sent, Navajo Committee sent, Navajo Nation Council, and it's tracking number 0058-21.
That manual said that was changed.
That was changed. That's not the correct listing. The correct one was sent out on, let me check.
Honorable Madam Chair, Charles Newton, I did send one out this morning. I forwarded it to the Law and Order Committee members, and it does state on the proposed Navajo Nation Council Resolution 24th Navajo Nation Council 3rd year 2021, introduced by Honorable Otto So, co-sponsor Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton, and I think Seth Damon, tracking number 0058-21. In the right-hand corner, it's stamped Law and Order Committee, then Budget and Finance Committee, then Nabikia Committee, then Navajo Nation Council.
Sherelle,
Okay.
This is Ann. Can you forward that email to me, please?
Yes, I did forward it out this morning. Let me see. At 8:56, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So we're good then, Dana?
You're good. Just amend the title and you're good.
Thank you so much. So, Vice Chair, what we're going to do is, thank you, Dana. I think we're good now. Thank you for getting on the line.
Thank you. I'll stay on the line for a little bit. Thanks.
Okay. Vice Chair, I think what we'll do is, since you were in the midst of your presentation and you lost your agents are back on the line. We'll finish hearing from your agent, and then from there we can go ahead and offer the amendment. One of your colleagues, Honorable Vince James or Honorable Eugene So, can offer the amendment to change the title of the legislation, and then we can proceed from there. Are you good with that, Vice Chair?
Yes, I'm good with that. And I'm going to go ahead and call on my agents then. Thank you very much. Shannon, Garrett, and Captain Todalia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. This is Shannon Gravatt from Navajo Criminal Investigations. I'm the Administrative Service Officer for Criminal Investigations, and just a little insight as to how we came about with the budget was that back in 2020 we received our base, which was $700,000, but we put in an additional amount of money for supplemental to come up to 1.3 million, and the focus on that was to get new weapons, more ammo, and body armor for our investigators. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic that occurred, all of our essential equipment that we were wanting to purchase went to PPEs and sanitation supplies to ensure that our staff were continuing to be in a safe working environment. Now that we're currently in 2021, we have returned back to our base according to the allocations that were given by Mr. Delmar of $700,000, which doesn't cover all the mandates and the requirements that we're needing to cover various costs, especially with this new strand of COVID that has arrived on the reservation. We're still needing COVID equipment. And as you know, we do play a dual role as a coroner. So within last year, we've had approximately 500 deaths. And within those deaths, we've had to pay for autopsies that are $4,776 each, along with our toxicologies that are $283, not to mention the equipment that goes with it, which are body bags, evidence tags, COVID testing vials, postmortem blood kits, and so forth that correlate with part of what goes on with their second position as coroners. Not to mention the mileages that have been going up when responding to the scenes. So as you can see, the mandated costs that we're having to pay for every year with mileage, maintenance, phones, internet, autopsy bills, and other mandated bills, it really puts a hindrance on the department where we don't have any equipment, operating supply money, nor office supply money, nor do we have any compensation to pay for our overtime for our staff that are responding after 5 o'clock, after normal working hours. So the only compensation at this moment that we've been trying to do is trying to help with the in compliance with overtime and paying compensatory time to those hourly rated people that do utilize those overtimes. So with that, this is the reason why we are asking for that particular amount of money of $1,244,913 to cover a lot of these expenses of overtime, holiday, mileage, maintenance, and office supplies, operating supplies, which under operating also includes variants such as the PPEs, the sanitation, janitorial to maintain sanitation of the building and the vehicles, because we do have coroner vehicles where we transport the bodies from the scene to possibly the hospital to the mortuary or to the New Mexico or Arizona OMI, Office of Medical Investigations. So I'm going to go ahead and give the remainder of the floor to Captain Totolina. And thank you, Chair, Vice Chair and members of the committee for listening to us, and I really appreciate you hearing us out.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee, and everybody that's listening. This is Captain Tolina with the Windrock Criminal Investigation Office. Speaking about our supplemental that we put in, or our unmet needs budget that we have that we put in, thankful that you guys are looking at it, and hopefully, it makes it through so that it can work with our budget here in Windrock and the Navajo Nation itself, because we have 7 districts and our general funds budget is at $700,000. But when you look at 7 districts plus the headquarters office, that's only $100,000 per district, or less than that with 8 offices throughout the reservation. So the COVID crisis that we're still in has made a tremendous impact on our budget because of what we had to pay for with the autopsy costs and the mileages and being an essential employee. Talking about the essential part of the job is, working with everything that you got, and you don't have no time off to be with your family or your loved ones until after everything's completed. So looking at those kind of things, we have to compensate our employees with special duty pay, hazard duty pays, in order to kind of like make ends meet on this end, because they were here while the rest of the Navajo Nation was pretty much was told to stay at home, and they weren't subject to come to work. But the Criminal Investigation Office, the police department, the essential employees had to be here at work and taking care of things while other people were off. So we did have to improvise and make a lot of decisions on what kind of budgets we're looking at, which monies we had to transfer to cover costs. So right now we're trying to make ends meet with the amount of monies that we have. So hopefully, if the monies that's appropriated or that we're requesting is approved, it'll cover most of the expenses all the way out to the next fiscal year, which is probably beginning in August to September. So it's been hard, and it's been difficult trying to get some monies to cover cost, and that's why we're requesting this. And we had to go through the Law and Order Committee to request those funds to see if we can, make ends meet to close the business probably in September. So I really appreciate everyone's help that's putting in. Odo, thank you very much for presenting our budget and helping us with that. And hopefully the legislation's changed on the heading so that we can move forward to the BNF. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Madam Chair.
Vice Chair, does that conclude your presentation at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Captain Totolina. Vice Chair, are you still there? Vice Chair, Honorable Otto So, are you still on the line?
Yes, I'm on the line. I was muted. I muted myself. So anyway, but this is what what the criminal investigation the yok kitchen and so now that those kids we shouldn't be allowing our police officers to beg us for money for services that they need to be provided to the general greater Navajo public. And each year. And this function is duly under the executive branch. And I'm sure that she will a base of budget that is also a conduct this year. Yan na siya utape peso asin so pe pan na na khafik akonde ba otahne ato kushi banan na siya ego pe banan peso ego pe no ati ako earlier in the Navajo the past previous law and order committee, the criminal investigation provided a report to the committee pertaining to the operation. Because I solely support their needs. Because they're part of the first responders. They're part of the equation of looking at if anything are questionable related to any deaths that happened on the Navajo Nation. And then the COVID by not still, I don't that they should be able to get their overtime. And it really puzzles me how and why about that shit. And I'm sure that there's probably a mechanism in place, but we need to put some dollars in place for them. Although they have their livelihood, but we should be able to compensate them for the work that they do protecting the Navajo Nation and the Navajo people. Through the Amendment 1, equals slashing of side or this lahage shadow me. Don't the candy cato aja hotness I don't advocate the main motion request for your support. A criminal investigation is something that we need to support in all law enforcement. That okay though just based either. Because I had it other Yaniki Hodosa by those I get the so listen. Because if it were my way, I would start looking at funding the public safety off the top of the Navajo Nation budget instead of it goes through the regular budget process. Because I saw lay programs about that public safety abundance and there we need to change Title 12, the Appropriation Act, so that programs that has to be funded are funded before the dollars come down to the division level to be divided up. And in this case, allow for those staff and I believe they're buying a sauna suit to offset some of their gowns that they use. I really hope that they're not reusing them. And thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair Aikeha Ado, Ms. Gravatt, and Captain Tortolina for your presentation today. I would like to ask at this time, Vice Chair, I guess, why do we not have the Director of Criminal Investigations on the line supporting this legislation?
Madam Chair, I guess that's a management decision. the director of criminal investigation. I really hope that he's on the line, or even Mr. Delmar, the division director. He should be on the line. This is his program. And I know that Yvonne K. Bilson's on the line, representing the office of the president. And I don't know why they're not here. And if I'm sure if Mr. Delmore worked for me and Mr. Henderson worked for me, I give them notice. You get on this call or out. We know that that's the executive branch and the legislative branch issue. We don't have the control over the personnel and the division directors. But in this case, we represent the Navajo people directly. We have to keep these programs suffice and operating. So again, don't know why they're not on here. They should be. Whether maybe they're told don't get on the call. I don't know. They don't work for me, but this is an issue that I see that it's really fit, that is very probable, and the Navajo people out there listening. This is the legislative branch trying to help our tribal program.
Delegate Vice Chair Otto. So with that, committee members, we do have a motion on the floor for this legislation. I believe, Sherelle, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I believe the motion was made by Delegate Vince James and it was seconded by Honorable Eugene. So is that correct?
Yes, Honorable Madam Chair, Charles Newland.
Okay, so with that, committee members, are there any questions for Vice Chair Otto So and his agents at this time? Not hearing anything. Sounds like we're going to go ahead and proceed forward to the vote. Sherelle, can you assist us with the roll call vote? Oh,
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead. Delegate Shuja, Eugene So, Avila, go ahead.
Regards to the legislation P0058 that heading Gishman. Did I hear Dana say to make an amendment or to relate? It says related. It says relating to RDC, BNF, and Navigation Committee. But then on the other one, the one that shows in here on the upper hand corner, then I gave law and order. What the hell? I don't RDC, but BNF, I don't Navajo Nation Council. What else? Kate said the article, but in the heading, it what aid. It's a sasson need a lot. A question. I'll question back.
Delegate Eugene, so thank you for reminding me. There was a correction made to the title of the legislation. That's what Dana was talking about. So we do need an amendment to make that change to the title of the legislation. Delegate Eugene. So are you making that motion at this time?
Oh, even that additional clarifications on Dalton to make that amendment.
Honorable Eugene So. Thank you. So with that, committee members, we have a motion made by Honorable Eugene So to amend the title of the legislation to remove RDC and put in the place of RDC Law and Order Committee. So with that, can I get a second?
Madam Chair, I'll second that.
Honorable Vice Chair, yes, I do believe that you can second that amendment. So with that, committee members, are there any questions or comments? Or actually, Angie, can you go ahead and read that amendment into the record, please?
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the Law and Order Committee, you have an amendment on legislation 0058-21, and the amendment is motioned by Delegate Eugene So and second by Vice Chair Otto So. And it indicates an act relating to, and the structure language would be resources and development. And the new language is Law and Order Committee, Budget and Finance and Navajo Committees and the Navajo Nation Council approving supplemental funding from the unreserved undesignated fund balance in the amount of $1,244,913 for the Navajo Department of Criminal Investigations to continue providing effective services for the Navajo Nation, waiving 12 NNC sections 820 E, F, and J. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that reading, Angie. So with that, committee members, there's a motion on the floor to amend the title of the legislation. The motion was made by Honorable Eugene So, second by Delegate Otto So. With that, committee members, are there any questions or comments at this time? Not hearing anything, we'll go ahead and proceed forward to the vote. Sherelle, can you assist us with the roll call vote, please?
Okay, Honorable Vince James.
Delegate Dan votes green.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Eugene So.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Otto So.
I vote green.
Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazi. Honorable Edmund Yazi. Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton, you have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting, which is Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton not voting and Honorable Edmund Yazi absent.
So with that, committee members, the amendment hereby passes with 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting. We'll go ahead and go back to the main motion on the legislation for 0058-21. Committee members, are there any other questions or comments at this time for legislation 0058-21? Not hearing anything. Angie, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and read the amended legislation into the record, then we're going to go ahead and go to a roll call vote.
Yes, Madam Chair. You have your proposed Navajo Nation Council Resolution 24th Navajo Nation Council 3rd year 2021, introduced by Otto So as sponsor, and tracking number is 0058-21. And it's an act relating to Law and Order Committee, Budget and Finance, and Navajo Committees and the Navajo Nation Council approving supplemental funding from the unreserved undesignated fund balance in the amount of $1,244,913 for the Navajo Department of Criminal Investigations to continue providing effective services for the Navajo Nation, waiving 12 NNC Section 820 E, F, and J. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Ms. Benali. So with that, committee members, we're going to go ahead and proceed forward to the roll call vote. Sherelle, can you assist us with that, please?
Honorable Vince James.
Delegate Dan votes green.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Eugene So.
Vote is out. Thank you.
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Otto So.
I vote green. Thank you.
Honorable Otto votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Chair, Madam Chair Charles Newton, you have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting, which is Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton not voting and Honorable Edmund Yazzie absent.
Thank you for that, Sherelle. So with that, committee member 0058-21 does pass, and I believe that it does proceed forward to Nabikiatske. Thank you, Delegate Otto So. Thank you to your agents. With that, your agents are hereby excused. Delegate Otto So.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. I don't know. I think someone can last me to laugh at fun, not kaki. I had it at a codo. With the card is Jahigi, Aben, Annie, Gato, Baken, so the Schnedo, a cat. Called Abba has seat on it. I get the Ago. We submit your comment in supporting for this legislation to get travel resources to our public safety. One of the branches, criminal investigation. So, it was Abba has it on the onions, was the name, maybe can cut up a bar.
Thank you, Delegate Otto. So with that, committee members, we're going to go ahead and move down to the next item on the agenda. We have item 6A, which is a report from the judicial branch regarding the process servers not being paid. Do we have a agent from the judicial branch on the line? Last and final call for judicial branch to report to the Law and Order Committee on why process servers have not been paid. Do we have any agent from the judicial branch on the line? Not hearing anything. Let's go ahead and committee members, we do have the judicial branch who we are the oversight committee for. We have process servers who are reaching out saying that they still have not been paid for several months. I believe it began in September, October, November, and December. Our process servers were not paid and still have not been paid. We haven't got a thorough response from the judicial branch. Can we go ahead and committee members, how would you like to proceed forward with this matter?
Madam Chair?
Vice Chair Otto, go ahead.
First of all, whether they're judicial branch or so forth, they've been on the line. I heard them. I would just let's issue out the subpoena on the judicial branch. This issue has been gone so far, and still people are trying to get paid, and we've been kindly asking them to address this issue. And I think so let's subpoena them and get them in why. They've been on the line, so that's going to be my motion, committee members. Let's go ahead and move forward with the subpoena on the judicial branch, and we'll hold a meeting geared to this, pertaining to the process server. And get time for the Office of Legislative Service to work on a subpoena and issue it out, and we'll set a meeting up for them. So with that, that'll be my motion.
Thank you, Delegate Otto. So, Lurleen, are you on the line?
Madam Chair, this is the branch.
Legislative Council.
Yes, I
do we
am.
have on?
Yes, I
Lurleen,
am.
let's go ahead and if you can go ahead and work on this subpoena for judicial branch. I am here in Window Rock. I can go ahead and sign the subpoena today, and let's get it delivered to the police department. We do need to get answers on why our process servers have not been paid. We called upon judicial 3 times. There was no response. So let's go ahead and let's get that subpoena going. Lorraine, do you have any questions for?
Yes, I need to know who to work with to draft the subpoena, who to work with from judicial.
You don't work with judicial. You work with Dana to draft the subpoena.
Madam Chief Justice, Madam Chair, Charles Newton. Can you hear me? This is Yvonne Arvizo Gorman.
Lorraine, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Dana's working remotely today, so I'm going to have to see if I can do this with her through email or phone.
I'm on the line, Laureline. Just
okay.
You and Troy read the subpoena provisions in the code and start preparing something. It may not be ready today, Madam Chair, but we will do our best. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Dana. We do appreciate that. So with that, committee members, we're going to go ahead and move down to the next report. We have
Madam Chair?
on the line. Hello?
Madam Chair? Madam Chair, this is Karen Francis. I was trying to unmute. However, I didn't unmute on time. We do have a report that I had emailed out to the committee members, and Mr. Stephen at City is going, he's been trying to get onto the meeting, and he would be the one to deliver the report. But the report has been emailed out to all of you, and I'm not sure if Mr. at City was able to get on the line yet.
Karen, we called upon the judicial branch 3 times. There was not a response during that time, and I'm looking at my text messages right now. I know that normally in those situations, you do text me to say that you're trying to get on the line, or you do tell me who is on the line from judicial branch to address these issues. However, we did not get any form of communication from the judicial branch regarding this matter. Again, 3 times the committee called upon the judicial branch to answer to the report that we requested regarding the process servers. So we already moved forward. We are going to move forward to the INTEC report. Perhaps if after the INTEC report committee members want to hear from judicial, they will motion at that time to suspend the floor rules and to hear the report. Otherwise, we have proceeded forward and we called upon INTEC. So with that, we do have Kortasha Upshaw from INTEC, who is currently on the line. Ms. Upshaw, are you still there?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm here.
I'm sorry, Kortasha, was that your last name, Upshaw, right?
Yes, Upshaw.
Okay, great. Ms. Upshaw, we did ask for a report. I know that you did share some information with us on the heating resource program. So with that, Ms. Upshaw, I don't know if you've ever reported to this committee before, but you do have 20 minutes to provide information to this committee. Actually, I'm sorry, it's 15 minutes. If you need an additional 5 minutes, you can ask the committee for an additional 5 minutes. When you're done, let the committee know that you're completed with your report. Then at that point, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and turn the floor over to committee members for questions they may have. So with that, do you have any questions regarding the procedure?
No questions. Thank you.
With that, committee members, I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Ms. Upshaw. Ms. Upshaw, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair Charles Newton. Good afternoon, everyone, Law and Order Committee members and guests. Thank you for giving us some time today to provide you information on our free coal program. My name is Kortasha Upshaw. I am Twetna Sethin and Shaw, Sitna Jini A Bashis Chin, Kio Ani A Dasha Che, Twachini A Dasha Nulle. I am originally from the Fort Defiance area. I am the Community Affairs Coordinator for Navajo Transitional Energy Company, INTEC, out of Farmington, New Mexico. I will be presenting on behalf of INTEC on our Community Heating Resource Program. I am here with Andy Hawkins, who's with Bisti Fields. He'll be on the call for any technical questions at the end. Madam Chair Charles Newton, I have provided my presentation. Has yourself and the committee received the presentation?
Madam Chair, I received it, yes.
Thank you very much, Delegate So.
I believe I also got it as well, Ms. Upshaw. Honorable Eugene So, Honorable Vince James, did you guys get the presentation? Ms. Upshaw, you can go ahead and begin.
Thank you. Going into the presentation, our Community Heating Resource Program has radically changed and expanded over the past 2 years. These changes have happened very quickly and are so significant that many members of the public may not know the full extent of the program and the benefit it provides across the nation. Today, the CHIRP program in itself constitutes a direct contribution by INTEC to the nation of almost $2 million annually. This contribution amount includes the value of the coal and the cost to run the program. Over the course of this presentation, I will detail the success of the program and explain how it has evolved and expanded. Slide 3, the roots of CHIRP. Navajo Mine is located in the northwestern part of New Mexico between the Ninahansad chapter boundaries and the Burnham chapter boundaries. Navajo Mine has provided free coal to Navajo communities living near Navajo Mine since the 1980s. Back then, community members and families, including our elders, loaded coal by hand, which took several hours in the day. Also back then, the community coal yard could only handle 60 vehicles per day due to people loading throughout the day and traffic. If a vehicle arrived after the 60 limit capacity, they would either have to come back the next day or purchase the coal from another vendor for the night, and the cost of the coal was easily $130 a ton to purchase. Slide 4, founding CHIRP. INTEC identified a need. With the closure of Kayenta Peabody Mine, INTEC recognized an immediate need to increase the availability of coal to heat homes across the Navajo Nation and the Hopi tribe. The current layout we had was too small to meet the immediate need to handle the rise in anticipated traffic volume due to the increased need for coal. In addition to expansion, INTEC realized the entire coal distribution process needed to be redesigned to meet the urgent need to scale up the program. This redesign resulted in the creation of our current Community Heating Resource Program, or CHIRP for short. CHIRP is guided by 2 key principles. The first one, ensuring safety, providing community members with safe and efficient access to coal. In doing so, also following our COVID-safe protocols we implemented this past season. Second principle, maximizing efficiency, creating a bulk delivery program to deliver coal to chapters across the Navajo Nation to reduce the need for people to travel long distance. This option gave communities such as coal mine chapter or loop chapters the option to receive a bulk delivery rather than having their elder members drive the 6-hour one-way to receive their load of coal. I'm on slide 6, benefits of CHIRP. Our community coal yard. The re-engineered the coal yard to handle increased traffic and loading. We moved the entrance to increase safety and adjusted mining practices to ensure the best coal was available. We provided equipment to quickly load vehicles and security to ensure safe access to community coal yard. Loading of the coal that previously took a family a couple of hours by hand now takes less than 60 seconds. The new community coal yard serves hundreds of vehicles per day and we set a single day record of 318 vehicles this past season in one day. I'm on slide 7, community coal yard. As you can see in the slide provided a snapshot of our current community coal yard. The new entrance of our chirp yard comes off of Navajo Route 4104. Traffic lines up. We direct them past the traffic booth to the loaders, where they will receive their load of coal. As you can see, we have 2 skid steers loading, and that's based on capacity of visitors for the day. We also have provided porta potties available by the traffic booths for community members traveling from far distances. We've implemented COVID-safe protocols. Masks must be worn, no contact to the public as they come through our chirp yard. We continue to follow all Navajo Nation community health orders that have been implemented. Slide 8 is pictures. Our loading efforts have gotten a lot of wonderful praises from community members, especially our elders. They are happy and thankful that they don't have to pick and load the coal themselves. Picture shows community members leaving our coal yard with smiles as they receive their load of coal without loading by hand. Top right photo shows a semi-truck being loaded with approximately 20 tons of coal to be delivered to a chapter under our bulk delivery program. Bottom right is a picture of a skid steer loading a truck with coal under our individual pickup option. Moving on to slide 9. Ensuring quality. So when we say ensuring quality, NTEC made changes to our mining methods in order for us to get optimal size and grade of the coal for home heating purposes. The coal we provide APS is basically the size of a quarter. So it was crucial for us that we change our mining method to get coal the size of a volleyball for home heating purpose. In order for us to change this mining method, we purchased a screener. This screener is able to sort and size the coal for home heating use. That led us to ensure our quality of coal for our CHIRP program. Slide 10, ensuring access. Improved distribution. Multiple ways to receive coal. Individual coal cards can be loaded with 1 ton of coal by individual chapter members. So we distribute our coal cards to the chapters directly, and they administer and distribute the coal cards on their end. The bulk delivery program is offering chapters bulk delivery of approximately 20 tons of coal per shipment to be delivered to their chapter for community members who cannot make the trip to Navajo Mine. Bulk delivery is delivered to chapters and again distributed on their end. Slide 11, evolving CHIRP. Slide 12, total visitors. So this presentation provides numbers from March 16th, and so it's missing our numbers for the last 2 weekends of our program, but I do have the updated numbers for the entire CHIRP season in front of me, and I'll provide that to you all. So total numbers by season, in 2016 and 17, we had 902 visitors to Navajo Mine. To 2017 and 18, we had 1,118 visitors. 2018 and 19, we had 2,295 visitors to Navajo Mine. Last season, we had 5,901 visitors, and for the season of CHIRP, currently after we've completed the CHIRP season, we are at 10,221 visitors to Navajo Mine. Slide 13, again, this shows numbers from March 16th, and I do have the updated numbers for our entire program. Total visitors by type, 2018 and 19, we had 586 community members, and we provided, 382 visitors from employee, retirees, and APS. 2019 and 20, we had 3,320 community members, 1,307 employee, retiree, and APS, and we had 211 visitors under our bulk program. This past winter season, we had 7,511 visitors, community member visitors. We had 2,636 employee, retirees, and APS, and we had 74 visitors under our bulk program. Slide 14, total visitors by tons. Last season, we're at 3,707 tons under community members, 1,542 under employee, retirees, and APS. We're at 1,336 under the bulk program last season. This current season, we are at 7,511 tons to community members, 368 tons to employees, APS, and retirees. We are at 1,469 for the bulk program currently. Slide 15. Where does our chirp coal go? I have, again, updated the numbers for the entire season. So we've separated this slide under Northern, Western, Eastern, Chinle, and Fort Defiance Agency. Currently, we are at 3,535 to Northern Agency, 1,431 tons to Western, 1,136 to Eastern, and we are at 1,010 to the Chinle Agency, 1,719 to the Fort Defiance Agency. I will provide the updated numbers in the presentation to you as soon as we get done with the presentation. Thank you. Slide 16. We were also able to take care of our neighbors, the Hopi tribe. In 2019 and 20, the Hopi tribe received 141 tons of coal through individual mine visits. This season, with the bulk pickup and distribution through Navajo Hopi Relief Group, the tribe has received 147 tons. Slide 17. This slide provides you a snapshot of our accomplishment for CHIRP this past winter season. We had 10,200 visitors this season, and that's an increase of 73% over the last season and a 345% over the 2018 and 2019 winter season. We have provided 12,000 tons of coal this winter season. That's an increase by 42% over last winter season. So if I try to wrap my mind around visualizing tons and not being a technical person, I was able to compare tons to pounds. So in pounds, INTEC has provided 24 million tons of free coal to our Navajo Nation communities. So if you look at it, I would put that pounds into 10-pound flour bags. So we have provided 2.4 million sacks of 10-pound flour bag of coal to the Navajo Nation communities, just to give you a perspective of that. Also, we are happy to say that during the winter chirp season, we had 0 accidents or injuries at our coal yard. A few notable facts. We also had an increase in chapter member usage by almost 3,400 members, or an 82% increase from last season. Our employee APS retiree also increased by 1,166 members, or by 79% from last season, and more of our BISTI employees used the program this season as well. Slide 18. This amount is from, again, March 16th. I do have the updated numbers for me for this season, and I'll read that off to you. Total contribution to the nation. INTEC pays for 100% of the program costs. This includes the mining of the coal, screening, sizing, loading, yard operations, and bulk delivery. The program is free to community members. No coal is sold to the public. Our operational cost sits at $1,803,707. The value of the coal, excuse me, the value of the coal sits at $1,566,240. The total contribution for this program alone is $2,649,347. In closing, I just want to reemphasize that our CHIRP program first identified a need, was guided by 2 key principles: safety and maximizing efficiency. We provide easy loading of coal, we ensure our quality of coal, and ensure our distribution to all 110 Navajo Nation chapters. And INTEC is still committed to covering the cost for this program of $2.4 million to keeping this program operating for our Navajo communities. Also, our team is very dedicated, continually humbled in providing our CHIRP program to the Navajo Nation. Again, our INTEC management and board continue to support and provide any assistance necessary to continue this program going forward. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll take any questions. I'm done with my presentation, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Ms. Upshaw. So with that, committee members, are there any questions or comments at this time for Ms. Upshaw?
Madam Chair, is there a motion in place? I'm sorry.
You know what? I stepped away really quickly. Sherelle, can you check? Was there a motion and a second call for that?
No, Honorable Madam Chair, there's no motion or second yet.
Okay, thank you. Committee members, we do need a motion and a second for this report provided to us by Ms. Upshaw on Intech.
Also, one motion.
Motion made by Vice Chair Otto Stowe. Can I get a second?
Eugene So.
Second by Honorable Eugene So. So with that, committee members, we do have a motion and a second. Are there any questions at this time for Ms. Upshaw regarding the report she just provided to us on Intech and the heating program?
Madam Chair, or a couple comments. That's all. Thank you.
Vice Chair Otto Stowe, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Ms. Upshaw, thank you for the report and for the slide that you have presented. I did the Michigan Navajo Transitional Energy Company. Thank you for your efforts to try to help and offset a lot of Navajo citizens with their coal need for heating sources. And I and I just would like to appreciate that and having that option out there and improving the coal yard and even working towards to improve the amount of vehicles coming in per day. I went out there within 8 days ago, and I'm very, very pleased to see that Navajo citizens were picking up coal. I didn't get a load of coal, but I drove by there. And I see you're helping to heat homes across the Navajo Nation. And it's really something that, it's it really that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for your report. And I guess with that, your contact information is on there, and I just have a few things just relating to the chapter program. But I will forward that to my chapter to get a little bit more information to have a direct communication directly with you, or with Intech related to the coal distribution. And I will share this information with my constituency here in Tuba City. The other is that I guess the summer is coming around, and I think it'd be good to sort of open up early to give Navajo citizens to start getting ready for the winter. And some of them like to get ready in advance. So that's just one recommendation.
Thank you, Delegate Otto. So, Ms. Upshaw, the floor is yours to respond.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Delegate. So we appreciate your thank yous and appreciate all the stuff that you also do for your communities. Yes, we are already starting to plan again for our chirp season. We are looking at opening earlier this year, and we do provide open communication to all chapter staff as well. So we have that open communication to all of your chapter's support staff as well. So thank you very much, Delegate. So I appreciate the comments. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ms. Upshaw. Committee members, are there any other questions or comments at this time? With that, we do have a motion and we also have a second in place. Since there are no other questions or comments at this time for Ms. Upshaw, we're going to go ahead and proceed to the roll call vote to accept the report. Sherelle, can you assist us with the roll call vote, please?
Okay, Honorable Vince Shane. Honorable Eugene So.
Vote okay.
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Otto So.
I vote green.
Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Vince Shane. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton, you have 2 in favor, 0 opposed, 3 not voting, which is including Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton not voting, Honorable Edmund Yazzie absent, and Honorable Vince James not voting.
Thank you for that, Sherelle. So with that, committee members, we are moving down to the next item on the agenda. Ms. Upshaw, we want to thank you for your time and also for the report that you provided to us. Is there anything you'd like to say before we move on to the next item on the agenda?
No, thank you for giving us this time, Madam Chair, as well, also the committee members. Thank you.
So with that, committee members, we are now at the end of the agenda. We do have judicial branch, who is, I'm not sure if they're still on the line. Is there anybody from judicial branch on the line?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Can you hear me? This is Stephen Etzity.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Etzity. Thank you for being on the line. Committee members, as you know, we did call judicial branch 3 times and they did not answer. We moved forward on the agenda to InTech. At this time, committee members, would you like to hear the report from the judicial branch at this time regarding the process servers not being paid?
Chair.
Vice Chair Otto So.
Yes, I'm going to motion to hear them. And with the account that they do take into consideration that they know where they're at on the agenda and really hope that this does not happen again. And they have a fleet of employees over there that could be over there waiting on the line for them. And I'm sure they're busy out there trying to with the program of the judicial branch, but they have a fleet of individuals that could on the line to say, hey, so and so is busy right now, but I can speak on behalf of judicial at this time. So that's gonna be my motion, that they do consider that and think about those things, and
Thank you for that, Delegate Otto. So with that, committee members, there is a request from Delegate Otto So to hear the report given to us by judicial on why process servers have not been paid. We're going to go ahead and allow judicial branch to provide us that information. So with that, committee members, we are now moving down to the report from judicial branch. We do have Mr. Stephen Etzity on the line. Mr. Etzity, you have presented to this committee before. Before I turn the floor over to you, do you have any questions regarding the procedures today?
Can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Etzity.
Okay, thank you. I do not have any questions about the procedures, and I just offer my thanks for the consideration and the allowance to hear our report today.
Thank you, Mr. Apsity. And Lurleen, if you are listening in, we do not need the subpoena at this time since we will be hearing the report. Mr. Apsity, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Otto Shananta, members of the Law and Order Committee. We did transmit a written report to your email addresses. I hope that you have been able to receive it and you can download it and follow along this report. Madam Chair, can you just do a quick check?
Yes, it looks like we did receive the email.
Okay. I was trying to correspond and get updates and send information to the LOC advisor this morning, and when I got a reply, she told me that she was on leave, and so I did not communicate directly with the chair as I have done in the past, and so I take the responsibility for missing the call earlier, but we did have staff available, and I was trying to hit my *6 to get unmuted, and but thank you for the reconsideration and allowing us to do this report. I believe this is about the third status report on the private process servers, and the document that you have in front of you explains where we're at right now. And just to cut right to the chase, of the 13 private process servers that are awaiting payment, there are 6 of them who will be getting a payment check issued by the Office of the Controller any day. We've done all the necessary administrative and budgetary work to assure that these payments are going to be forthcoming, and you'll see that the listing under the section entitled Payment Status names the individuals that will be receiving the payment. It also provides a reference to the contract that is now in place that is the basis for this payment. So the funds are in the contract. The contract is all approved. The invoices have been reviewed, and we're hoping that the checks can be issued out any minute, any day. So you can see on that list of the 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like there's 7 of the 13 have payments that are pending. We have 4 additional contractors who have their contract document still in review, and we have them over at the risk management program looking at their insurance capabilities. Those contracts do not have contract numbers yet. Once we get through and get the documents back from the risk management program, our Chief Justice will do her review. We will do another review for legal sufficiency, and then the Chief Justice will sign those contracts, which will then be returned to the Controller's office so that a contract number can be assigned to the agreement. And we have done much of the work to prepare the invoices once the contract has been given a contract number, and that information will be submitted to the Controller's office and for purchasing to then do their final review and then issue payment. The last 3 of the 13 contractors, again, are still waiting for their insurance review and any last changes that we need to make to the invoices for the purposes of making sure that the appropriate tax is included. I wanted to remind the committee that we've had to go through several iterations of revisions based on evolving guidance on this whole process. I wanted to remind the committee that when we started this process back in September and October, we had done this before with other federal funds, and we had a process that relied on the general claims forms, and we processed about $800 worth of claims before the controller's office issued us new guidance saying that we couldn't use that process and that we had to establish contracts. And so we had to start all over with our 13 contractors. And by the time we got all these contracts prepared, we were in receipt of the Navajo 4920 resolution, which provided a earlier than expected deadline for the expenditures of these funds, and we were not able to process all those contracts. By that time, we were in fiscal year 2021, and we were operating under a continuing resolution, and we did not have access to our full general funds budgets. We expected that we would have to rely on general funds to cover these remaining costs that we could no longer expend CARES Act funds for. And so by the time that the comprehensive budget was finally enacted in December, it took another month or so for all of the budgets to get updated and the work of the districts to finish their rebudgeting was able to resume. And so it took all those additional weeks of delay just to do the administrative work on rebudgeting and getting these funds into the proper line items so that we could then have those funds available for the contracts that we have been developing. The latest occurrence that happened that caused us to have to redo some of our administrative work in coordination with the Office of the Controller was to make the corrections for the inclusion of the Navajo Nation sales tax. There are two fundamental aspects of these contracts: the contract fees and the contract expenses. Mileage is a contract expense, and we could only apply the Navajo Nation sales tax to one of the expense elements. So we had to have that correction and clarified for us. And so we did all that work. We're understanding we're not getting any more of our documents being returned to us from the controller's office because of the tax issue. And so we have a light at the end of the tunnel, and we've tried to keep the private contractors, the private process servers, the individuals that are waiting for their payment, updated and informed about where their contracts were. And, you know, we had to continue to ask them for revised invoices when we had to redo the sales tax aspect of their contract and their payment on their invoices. And they've been very accommodating. They've been very patient. I know that many of are frustrated. I know you are frustrated, but we have worked hand in hand with the people at the controller's office. We've been pushing these contract documents and invoice and other payment documents, the insurance requirements through the necessary program offices. And like I said earlier, we have 7 of them that are just awaiting for their checks to be printed and issued, and we expect that they will be mailed to them. I know that we have some private process servers that would like to come to Window Rock directly and pick them up, but I believe that they'll be in the mail. They'll be sent in the mail to them. And we have the remaining 6 private process servers that will be looking to finish up the contract work, and then we have invoices and we have the receiving records that the controller's office needs to then conduct the payment processing. So very soon, all the contracts will be signed and have a contract number, and the remaining steps of the process will just be for the controller's office to issue the checks. Madam Chair, that's the end of my presentation. I would like to just highlight and express my appreciation to the folks over at the controller's office. When we work with them, we know that they're very busy and have competing priorities, and we've tried to elevate this and keep it elevated for them, but sometimes we have to work with their scheduling, and as they return to their offices with more staffing, you know, we're still in that process of other offices that are returning more of their work to regular office 8-hour, 40-hour a week in the office, and many of the people at the controller's office are still working from home. So those are not excuses. It's just the result of being in this pandemic, and just having to coordinate and take the extra time to make sure that all of the questions are clarified. So I just want to thank the folks over at the controller's office and ask that they continue to work with us and realize that this is indeed also a very high priority and that we get this done. Thank you.
Committee members, the presentation has been provided to us regarding the process servers. Are there any questions at this time?
Madam Chair, I think I'm going to move to motion. Motion to report.
Thank you, Delegate Otto. So the motion are you making a motion to accept the report at this time? Can I get a second? Committee members?
Delegate James, second.
Delegate Vince James seconds that. So I'm sorry again, I missed that. So with that, committee members, we do have a motion made by Honorable Otto, so a second made by Delegate Vince James, and this is to accept the report that has been provided to us by Mr. Stephen Absidy regarding the process servers not being paid. Are there any questions at this time? Vice Chair, I'd like to, Vice Chair, go ahead.
My question would be, we know that there's a process that's in place pertaining to the contracts and things like that, the Navajo Nation process. But what I'm getting to, is there a recommendation that judicial branch can make where we could make changes to the process of contracts so that we could speed up certain things of that nature so that these individuals can basically get paid when services are made? Or if we could maybe, somehow streamline this thing, because, we're having people not being paid and it hurts them. And when they start saying the Navajo Nation this, the Navajo Nation that, and just a recommendation, the judicial branch can get us a recommendation pertaining to that, or we could change the process, that's something that we could assist and try to help to change the process. And I'm sure that's the same thing, issues that executive branch programs are running into also. Where can we change these things in the or in that portion of the law? So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair, for that question. Mr. Absidy?
Chair Eugenia Charles Newton, Otto Shda'a, Vice Chair Otto So, members of the Law and Order Committee. We have been reviewing our experiences in expending the CARES Act money that was appropriated to the judicial branch. We're not finished completely with reviewing, but we know that it's going to be very helpful with the new American Rescue Plan funds that are going to be forthcoming. We do look forward to sitting down with the other branches, the executive branch, the controller's office, the legislative branch, Speaker Damon. We understand that the controller is also accountable to the legislative branch. So I do understand that both OMB and OOC, the Office of the Controller and the Office of Management and Budget, are also conducting their own internal reviews on the exact question that Delegate Otto So is raising as to how to continue to look for ways to make these processes that we have procurement-wise as efficient and more timely. I'm not sure when we're going to get the opportunity specifically. I don't have a date or a time, but we will be bringing forth our recommendations, and we can share those with the committee, as well as, I think there'll be a lot more discussion from the perspective of the other branches as well, and specifically from within the controller's office, because there's a lot on their shoulders when it comes to general procurement, small purchases, things that are more than $50,000 that are large purchases, contracts that are short-term, contracts that are long-term. So there's a wide variety of things that we now have to look at, given the prospect that the American Rescue Plan will provide us with a much longer time frame and more dollars for expending on assisting our programs and assisting our Navajo Nation economy and assisting the Navajo Nation people to recover from the impacts of this COVID-19 public health emergency and pandemic. So, I don't want to get in advance of my fiscal staff and anybody else, but we do know that there are some things that are easily done. One of the basic things that we often receive, and it's a source of confusion, is that our Chief Justice is our branch chief, and sometimes we get documents and we get guidance saying that another branch chief is the signatory over our funds and how we execute and pay out when it comes time for those processes. And it's just a matter of us having to clarify repeatedly to staff in the controller's office or OMB that we are a separate branch, and sometimes people mistake us for the Department of Justice also. So I find that to be a little something that we can easily address, but I find it a repeated clarification that we have to make, and I know that we can address that. Some of the other instances of other examples of recommendation also revolve around some streamlining of the 164 process that we've attempted, and we've gotten some fair progress on. We're capable of doing our own legal review on purchases and contracts, and we just need to coordinate that and clarify that with the Navajo Nation Department of Justice, along with the OMB and the OOC, so that they understand that our level of legal review is equivalent to the legal review provided by the Department of Justice attorneys. Lastly, when it comes to the purchase and procurement of goods and services for our information technology program, all the computer stuff and the communication stuff, when it comes to property management, that's another area where we can get a lot of potential additional efficiencies. Oftentimes we have to rely on general services and property management to do the job of tagging and identifying these new items as Navajo Nation property. In both the front end, they have a review process on purchases, and then at the back end, when we receive the goods or the items, they have to be tagged with a Navajo Nation property ID number and a physical tag. We can do some streamlining so that our IT people can assume a lot of the responsibilities that are carved out for the Department of Information Technology, which is also within the Division of General Services, and we can coordinate that with the Property Management Department so that we can get a little bit faster and better cooperation and understanding that our IT, the Judicial Branch IT program, can do many of the same things as the Navajo Nation Department of Information Technology when it comes to IT goods and services. And we can also help assist the property management in making sure that the inventory of the items are recorded and that we clarify and are doing our part to make sure that these are accounted for when we receive these orders, when we receive these items, and we close out the process through providing the three-way match and the other closeout aspects of the 6B procurement processes. So those are just a few of the low-hanging fruit, Shananta, that we can address, and that we certainly see that as a way to make some things that we could propose to make some things better. And of course, we have to work these out and get acceptance and approval of working in this manner from the Controller's Office, from the Division of General Services, through the Office of Management and Budget, and also from the Executive Branch Leadership, the President's Office. But that is a great question. I think everybody is looking at these types of advances that we can make on procurement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Absidy. Delegate Otto, so did you have a follow-up question?
Just a comment. I guess this is something that I think we need to look at what the judicial branch is running into with these contracts, and how can we work with the Controller's Office, since the Controller's Office is under the legislative branch, that we could try to streamline some of these contracts. And yes, I do agree that if we can utilize a claim form for them when they deliver anything, if the process server did their job, delivered the document required, we need to find a way so that they just submit the claim document at the judicial branch, and they can move forth to working with payouts. But I think it can be done, and we just need to find that funding mechanism and to get them in place. And then the other thing too is to get the process servers to make sure that all the documents are in place, all their documents are in place to so that they can continue to move forward to continue to do their job for the nation. Yeah, thank you. Just a comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair Otto. So, Vice Chair, can you take the chair so that I can ask a few questions as well?
Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, Madam Chair, I got the gavel, and I will go ahead and recognize you for your question. Madam Chair, you have the floor.
Vice Chair Otto, and thank you, Mr. Absidy, for providing us this information and this report that you have sent us that we have. I will share that I am disappointed in the judicial branch. I know that some of these issues you are working towards, you're working it out. However, there was no communication with the individuals who are being affected by not being paid those several months. There is no excuse for that. If anything, you should be on a call with them at least every other day, updating them on what has been happening. I have been receiving communications from some of the process servers
They had told me that they tried calling into the office, they left messages, and they hadn't heard what was going on. What was more upsetting for me is that the last time Judicial Branch presented before this committee, we were told that by mid-March that the process servers would be paid. Many of the process servers were listening in on that meeting at that time and were looking forward to getting paid in March. It's really unfortunate that the Judicial Branch thinks that they one, don't have to communicate with the people who are being affected, and two, that they're not thinking about the families of these process servers, and more importantly, the bills that are piling up at this point, because many of them thought that they would be getting paid. I don't know at this point, if it were up to me, I would stop all payments to the Judicial Branch employees for 6 months to see how they cope with not getting paid for 6 months. Or maybe even if Law and Order Committee had the power, if we just said we're going to stop all payments, you guys continue to come to work, and then we'll decide when we're going to pay you. It's a little bit unfortunate that this is happening. I understand that some things are out of the Judicial Branch's control. However, I think that communication would help alleviate some of these concerns that the process servers have. So, Vice Chair, I'm going to make a directive. I want the Judicial Branch to reach out to every single one of the process servers and explain to them the issues that they're encountering and the reasons that they are that the process servers have not been paid. Keep in mind that some of these process servers worked in the fall and they still have not been paid. I cannot imagine not being paid 1 month. I have my bills on automatic withdrawal. That would affect my bills, and it would also affect my budget. And I believe that the Judicial Branch is not taking that into consideration. And it is very, very unfortunate. And I hope that these process servers, when the Chief Justice has her public hearing, I hope that they share this information with this committee and write a letter to the committee talking about the experience that they encountered under her leadership, because the administration does report to the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. I think that this is a reflection of the Chief Justice, and it is a reflection of the supervisors who are in that position. Again, I will share my sentiments that this is really unfortunate, and I'm very disappointed that this is the report that we are hearing again today. So at this point, I want a definite answer from Mr. Edsity. I want to know, because we have the process servers who are listening in right now. They need to know by what date will they be paid, because you have to keep in mind that they are making arrangements. One process server shared with me that her truck is ready to get repoed. How is the Judicial Branch going to assist her when her truck is repoed? Because it falls on you guys to have gotten them paid. And I don't know why we are running into this after how many months that they've, put in hours. And now we're suddenly sitting here and we're saying, okay, these are the issues that we've run into. As a process server, I would have expected to have gotten paid every 2 weeks, or I would have expected to have gotten paid when the contract was complete. Like in most jobs that we all have, that's how things are handled. I'm getting really, I'm starting to wonder why the Navajo Nation does not pay individuals who leave the nation. They don't pay them for months. I know that it's not only the Judicial Branch, but it's also the Executive Branch as well. And I hope that's not happening in the Legislative Branch. But we have heard from individuals who have said that they resigned their position. And I know one gentleman who had to wait 6 months to be paid his last check. There's no reason for that at all. And I just want to ask how Judicial Branch can, how they didn't have this issue addressed, and why, suddenly we are in the month of April and our process servers still have not been paid. So again, one is I do need a directive to the judicial branch that they contact individually each process server who's being affected at this point, and that they explain to them what is happening, and then also how they plan to address the situation so that they have that communication. Two, I also want to ask the judicial branch to share with us today when they plan to have the process servers paid. Again, many of them are listening in. They need to hear this. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. With this directive, the normal protocol for the directive is that we'll entertain the directive right after the report, the acceptance of the report of this report, and we'll entertain the directive at that time, Madam Chair. And then Angie, you probably wrote down the two items of the directive, and get that ready. Number one is that the judicial branch will contact every process server and they will explain where they're at in the process of getting them paid out. And number two is that when the judicial branch will expect payment to the process server, speaking to timeline of payment to these of the process server. So I will entertain that for you right after the acceptance of this report, Madam Chair. Is that okay?
Yes, Vice Chair, that's fine. Thank you.
All righty then. With that, I'm going to turn time back over to Steve to provide a response, and then we'll go ahead and move forward from there with the report. Mr. City, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, Delegate Otto, Chair Eugenia Charles Newton. Thank you for your comments. I am very positive if the contractors, the individual private process servers, are listening in, we wouldn't have gotten this far in getting their contracts all updated with the requirements from the risk management office, and with straightening out the tax issues. We wouldn't be at this point if we weren't talking to them and explaining to them exactly what is happening, what has changed. And I do know that sometimes we have to go through a little bit of phone tag to make sure that we can communicate. We can reach out to everybody once they have received their check. I did mention that there is about half of them where the issuance of the check is really in the hands of the controller's office now, which is why I state that any minute or any day those checks will be distributed, sent out in the mail. The Chief Justice is aware of this priority, and she is also asking us repeatedly for when the next set of contract documents are coming her way. And so she is standing by, ready to do the final review on any of the remaining contracts that need to be submitted. And then, once we have all of the contracts finalized, we have the payment information, again, that is provided and clarified, revised, and updated in coordination with each individual that has receipts and has an invoice that we make corrections to, and we can't do this without communicating with them. And so I can assure you that, the communication over the last several weeks has been fairly constant. I do know that and recognize that there was some frustration with a minimal communication, perhaps during the months of November and December, and early January as we were doing our internal processes on the financial end to revise our budgets and to just reset all of this so that we can make these payments out of the general fund accounts in our judicial branch, as opposed to the CARES Act budget, which was no longer accessible to us after November 20th. And all I can ask, and what we've been telling our individual private process servers, is try to explain as much as possible all of these changing and moving parts. And I do know that when you're looking at having to pay for expenses in the household, that oftentimes those explanations don't mean anything, because all that can solve it is the issuance of a check. And so to anybody who is in situations where this check is going to be a welcome relief, we're trying every day to get these checks into your hands so that you can address your needs. We want to continually thank those individuals that stepped forward during this period of last fall and into the winter, because it was during a very trying time. We're still in trying times, but they stepped in to help assist the judicial system for the Navajo Nation. In one of our earlier reports, we talked about the need to have a broader discussion on the issue of service of process. The judicial branch just has tried to do everything we could to assist our courts, but we know that service of process is not our sole responsibility. But in our efforts to engage with private process servers, we are thankful for their service and for their ability to work with us as we've experienced changes in guidance, changes in process, and even the correction on over the last couple of weeks on the correct application of the Navajo Nation sales tax to their invoices. So, we will look forward to responding to your directive with this information as we receive it and as we receive your directive. Thank you, Shanat.
Thank you very much. Committee members, any other correction? Hold on. Madam Chair, do you have any follow-up?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I guess I didn't hear the date in which this will all be resolved and process servers be paid, because right now we are this is April 1st. The next scheduled pay period, I believe, is April 7th, which means in this case that if the documents have not been submitted by this point, that the April 7th payday is going to go by and our process servers will not be paid again, which means that we are now aiming for April 21st. So I do, are we looking at April 21st to be the date that these process servers will have a check in hand? One. And then the other question that I have is, why can they not come to Window Rock to pick up their check? Why are we going to mail it out? Because that's an additional 3 days possibly. And I know that my LDA experienced problems where she was issued a check and she didn't receive it for 2.5 weeks. And so what they had to do was cancel her check and then reissue another check. And when they reissued the check, she was allowed to pick it up here in Window Rock. So why are we not allowing them that option of coming here to Window Rock to pick up that check? Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, with the follow-up. And Mr. Tilly, can you provide some general timeline that is tied to the judicial branch when you think that payment will be at least delivered to the process server? Give us timelines that you can stick to. Thank you. Mr. Tilly, you have the floor.
Yeah, for the follow-up question and chance to respond. The payment on these contracts, since these are contractors, vendors under a contractual relationship with the Navajo Nation. These individuals are not on the same schedule for personnel, Navajo Nation employees payroll. My understanding is that we were hoping that this group of 7 that are waiting payment from the controller's office, that their checks would be issued by Friday. I believe the controller's office has at least two times during the week when they can issue checks, and we've asked them to make some accommodations so that these can get a priority designation for the next check run that is conducted by the purchasing office. And so it is largely in the controller's office's hands right now for those 7 contracts that we've finalized and that we're just awaiting payment. As far as the rest of the contracts that still need to be finalized and given a contract number, as soon as we get them from the risk management office and as soon as they finish those insurance reviews and get sufficient designations, and when we get the correct invoice for the correct application of the sales tax on the invoice, our Chief Justice is ready to sign those contracts and get those contract numbers assigned and begin processing the payment. So I'm hoping that another week will be needed to conduct and finalize the last of those contracts so that they have contract numbers. And once we reach that point and we get the invoices processed by the controller's office, then it's in the controller's office then to do the job of issuing those checks. And so I'm hoping seriously that by April 7th, as you stated, which is more the payroll date, that we would have more, at least half of the process servers with checks in their hands, and that we are processing the payments, and that the controller's office can issue the remainder of the checks by April 15th, mid-month again. So the last thing, the question that was asked by Chair Eugenia Charles Newton about the need to mail the checks out. We do have some of the private process servers wanting to come to Window Rock and to pick up their checks. And it is actually the process of the controller's office in determining accessibility to their program under the current orange status that the executive branch is under, that seems to be the matter and their decisions behind continuing to just issue checks through the mail. And I can't speak for the controller's office, but for the issuance of these payments, it's largely in their hands. Vice Chair, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chitty, it seems like you're saying that the 7 individuals who has everything will be processed by this Friday, and that leaves the remaining 13 that needs to be processed, their contract, which has a timeline of 1 to 2 weeks. Looking at the calendar, 1 to 2 weeks to process the payment, and you set a timeline of April 15, 2021 to have them paid out. and that's what I get from your response, correct?
That's what I stated, yes. Thank you for the review of that.
Okay, thank you very much. This is just what I wanted to get, because we're gonna hold you to that, and as individuals, especially now, I'm thinking about that person that's getting her vehicle that may be repoed to the bill world. Promise to pay is taken to a certain level. If you miss those deadlines, that repo company will come in and take the property. So we have people in that predicament. So just think about that, and AJ, Madam Chair, thank you very much for your follow up on there. And committee, is there any other questions that you have for the director Stephen at City relating to the process servers not paid at this time? Go once, twice, 3 times. With that, I'm going to go ahead and proceed to roll call votes. And Sherelle, go ahead and move forward with the roll call vote.
Okay, Honorable Madam Chair, Eugenia Charles Newton, how do you vote?
Charles Newton votes red.
Honorable Madam Chair, Eugenia Charles Newton votes red. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate Jan votes red.
Honorable Vince James votes red. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Edmund Yazzie.
Vote is.
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Vice Chair, Honorable Otto So, you have 1 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 not voting, which is Pro Temp Vice Chair Honorable Otto So and Honorable Edmund Yazzie absent. Vice Chair.
Hello, this is Stephen Etzinger from the Judicial Branch. Is this call still operating?
Well, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was speaking away. I was on mute.
That's okay. I thought maybe we got hung up on. That's good. Thank you.
So what's that? Motion carries. 1 in favor, 2 opposed, and or motion fails. 1 in favor, 2 opposed, and chair not voting. With that, we have accepted your report, Mr. City and the Judicial Branch. With that, I'm going to move forth with the directive that has been requested by Madam Chair, and I know that our staff have written that down, and I'm going to go ahead and call upon Madam Chair to this restate the directive, and then we'll confirm it with our staff, and we'll go ahead and move forth with the seconding motion on that. So, Madam Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So with that, I guess my question is, who is writing the directive?
Madam Chair, I will go ahead and I should indicate that staff Angelita Benali, you should be able to have the directive ready or written out once Honorable Madam Chair states the directive. So we'll have staff on the line to take notes on that. With that, Madam Chair, go ahead and begin to state your directive. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So my directive, Angie, at this time is that the Department of Justice is to communicate individually with every process server and explain where the department, I'm sorry, I said Department of Justice, I meant the judicial branch. The judicial branch is to communicate individually with every process server and explain where they, the judicial branch, are at with getting the process servers paid out. In addition to that, I do want the judicial branch to inform the process servers the date in which the process servers will be paid out. This will allow the process servers to supply this document to their bill collectors as proof that they will be paid by that date. I think that will help alleviate some of the issues that some of the process servers are experiencing right now with their bill collectors. And then in addition to that, the judicial branch will be held to that document. So the directive again is going to inform the process servers where their particular case is at. Not overall. I want them to talk about their particular case and what needs to be completed, and then also, most importantly, when the judicial branch plans to pay them completely for the work that they have completed during the time that they were contracted for work with the judicial branch. Angie, does that make sense?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'll get with Sherelle on a transcribed portion of your directive, so I can put it in order, and then I'll put it together for you for LOC to sign.
Thank you so much. And if we could put on that directive, I don't know how long will it take you to get that document completed, Angie?
It's 3:47 right now. Probably by tomorrow.
Great. I will be here in Window Rock tomorrow morning. I can go ahead and sign for it. So if they can start making communication, if they can start making calls, April 6th, 7th, and 8th. That way it gives them 3 days to communicate with the process servers.
Okay, I'll note that.
Thank you for that, Angie. So with that, Vice Chair, I believe that we got all the information that we need. Committee, Vice Chair, are we good with that? Vice Chair, are you there?
Okay. I'm sorry. With that, we have all the information in place from staff, and they will work on it today and tomorrow morning, and we'll have the documents ready to be signed tomorrow. With that, I will go ahead and that is your motion from Madam Chair. I'm going to ask for a second motion from the committee members. Second in motion, go once.
Delegate James, second motion.
Honorable James. Yeah, Chinese. With that, we have a motion in place, second in place, relating to the directive that will be worked on pertaining to the timeline of when the process servers will be paid out and the communication effort from the judicial branch to the process servers relating where they're at in the process. So that language will be developed by staff, and we will, Madam Chair will be able to sign off on that directive. With that, we have that in place. Committee members, do you have any questions? What?
So here.
Mr. So, go ahead. You have the floor.
Also, Sie hat ja das nicht alles kann, das ich habe das nicht alles. Thank you.
Mr. Eugene So, it is on the record, and they're going to use what language is on the record. And the directive language will be ready tomorrow. And now on with that, committee members, is there any other question on there? Go once, twice, 3 times. Sherelle, go ahead and call roll call vote.
Okay, Honorable Madam Chair, Eugenia Charles Newton, how do you vote?
Charles Newton votes green.
Honorable Madam Chair, Charles Newton votes green. Honorable Bench James.
Delegate James votes green.
Honorable Bench James votes green. Honorable Eugene So.
Red. The first time I'm going to see red.
Honorable Eugene So votes red. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Vice Chair, Honorable Otto So, you have 2 in favor, 1 opposed, and 2 not voting, which is including Vice Chair, Honorable So not voting, and Honorable Edmund Yazzie absent.
Thank you very much, Sherelle, for helping us with the vote there. And with that, we have the directive motion, which has carried, and staff will be finishing up the document and will be presenting it, and we'll have it ready tomorrow to sign off on it. With that, I'm going to move forth and going to turn the gavel back over to Madam Chair.
Thank you, Vice Chair. So with that, committee members, we now move down to the next item on the agenda, which is to discuss very briefly the Law and Order Committee meetings for the month of April, to change the times due to the Navajo Committee work session. So committee members, our ARPA, I call it ARPA, the American Recovery, begin April 5th. As you know, it'll be April 5th, 6th, and 7th, April 12th, 13th, 14th, April 26th, 27th, and 28th. And then through the whole month, through the whole week of April 19th, we have Navajo Nation Council that will, we will be in session for spring session. So I know that speaker did talk to us about these work sessions. Many of the work sessions are very important as it will help us with developing the, the expenditure plans and the budgets for the ARPA funds. So on April 5th, we have a water line and power infrastructure work session. On April 6th, we have housing and transportation. On April 7th, we have broadband education. And then on April 12th, we have public safety and health. Then we have April 13th is chapters. April 14th is the Navajo economy. April 26th is strategic issues and opportunities. April 27th is financial management, and April 28th is the meeting with, it says meeting with Natsani. I believe it's, I just wrote Natsani. Maybe it's Natsani Development Corporation. I don't know. I just have Natsani. So with that, committee members, I'm hoping that we can meet on April 5th, on April 12th, and on April 26th at 7 o'clock in the morning and have a 2-hour law and order committee, possibly 2.5 hours, because we know that our work sessions don't always start right on time. So I think we got like maybe 30 minutes that we can spare during that time. But this will allow us to be able to listen in on the work sessions and to take part in the conversations. So with that, committee members, if we are good with meeting at 7 o'clock on April 5th, April 12th, and April 26th, meeting at 7 o'clock and ending our meetings at 9:30, we do have 3 reports that we do need to hear, so we can schedule reports at that time, which will allow us enough time to be able to hear the report and to ask questions. On April 5th, if the committee is good with meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning, the Nahat Adsis actually still has not received any information on the posting of police officers in that community. As you may recall, Vice Chair Delegate Raymond Smith did ask the Law and Order Committee for assistance a couple of times in different work sessions, and he did ask again if the Law and Order Committee can assist him so that we can hear a report from Department of Public Safety on how they're planning to move into the Nahat Adzi community and also the vacant building that's there in that community. April 12th, we do have public safety and health it would probably be a good idea at 7 o'clock in the morning to hear the report that public safety will be providing to the work session. That way we have a heads up on the April 12th. And then on April 26th at 7 o'clock in the morning, if you guys are good with this, we did get some information from Herfano chapter regarding the drag racing that has been going on in that community. They did reach out to Law and Order Committee asking if we could hear a report on that and also hear how Department of Public Safety is planning to address the drag racing. As you probably know already, we did get a report on this. The drag racing, it went through all throughout the pandemic last year in 2020. We have given Department of Public Safety the opportunity to address the issue, but per the Herfano community, the issue has not been addressed yet. So with that, committee members, that is the plan at this time. Again, it will require us to be up early at 7, but we should be completed by 9:30, which will allow us to take part in the work sessions and meet the requirements that are listed in the code regarding Law and Order Committee meetings. So with that, committee members, are there any questions?
Madam Chair?
Vice Chair Ottoso, go ahead.
I agree that we can start early, have the 1 hour, 2.5 hour, even to 10 o'clock, 7 to 10. And as you believe the work sessions are starting at 10, so just dial on and get on the next call. So 7 to 10, that's good. Thank you.
7 to 10 o'clock. Committee members, are we good with that?
Madam Chair.
Shaja'a, Honorable Eugene So.
Very 6 o'clock. Good end. Niship has under at Indian for the Japan first case. The H wave it is, ne? There we're gonna request for legislation to waive our days and hours, or we're just gonna go ahead and do it. That's my question.
Shahzad, Delegate Eugene, so the way that it works is if the committee is good with meeting at 7 o'clock, then Angie would draft the letter so that we can have it submitted to Speaker tomorrow. And then Speaker signs off on that letter, and then we can go ahead and post the agenda. But I did talk to Speaker ahead of time to let him know that that's the plan, and he said it's up to every committee to decide on how they want to address the issue. I know that that Hess, Budget and Finance, and RDC are still planning to meet on the days that they meet. But, you know, at the same time, you know, it does, what I worry about with our committee is, you know, our committee is short. You know, we don't have the full 6 members. Technically, there's only 4 active members on Law and Order Committee. And so if we continue to hold meetings, what I'm worried about is that we're not going to meet quorum. And so if we meet at 7 o'clock in the morning, then we should be fine. So we just write a letter to Speaker and we let him know that we want to meet Monday, April 5th at 7 o'clock, Monday, April 12th at 7 o'clock, and Monday, April 26th at 7 o'clock. So we don't need a legislation drafted. All we just need is a letter on behalf of Law and Order Committee to Speaker's office.
Madam Chair, Eugene,
Delegate, so we have set precedents before. The Law and Order Committee, like today, we're meeting. This is a special meeting, and that's all it's termed as a special meeting. So we'll be holding our regular Law and Order Committee meetings on Monday, but we're just changing the time.
Changing it to a special meeting?
Yes, and all we're doing is just changing the time because the code says that we're supposed to meet the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Mondays of every month for Law and Order Committee meetings. But because the 3rd Monday, we're going to be in special, Navajo Nation Spring Council. That's why we're going to meet on April 5th.
Goshi, I say that as long as it's 6 o'clock, I'm all right with
it. It'll be 7 o'clock, Shahzad. So with that, committee members, are we in agreement to meet April 5th at 7 o'clock and end by 10 o'clock? And we're going to hear only one report, and that's from the Hat'atzil and Department of Public Safety. April 12th at 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, we're going to hear from Department of Public Safety on the information that they'll be providing at the ARPA work session. And on April 26th, 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, the Herfino drag racing. If we're good with that, can I get a motion?
Vice Chair, on motion.
Motion made by Delegate Otto So. Can I get a second?
I'll be a chef at KC.
Okay, Shahzad. Second by Honorable Eugene So. So with that, committee members, if there's no other questions or comments, we'll go ahead and proceed forward to the vote. Sherelle, can you assist us with the roll call vote, please?
Okay, Honorable Vince James, how do you vote?
Delegate Jan votes green. Delegate Jane votes green.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Eugene So.
Vote is out, yeah.
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Otto So. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Otto So. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Madam Chair, Eugenia Charles Newton, you have 2 in favor, 0 opposed, 3 not voting, which is including Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton not voting, Honorable Otto not voting, and Honorable Edmund Yazzie absent. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Sherelle. So with that, committee members, it sounds like we have our agenda set for the month of April. So we'll go ahead and move down to the next item on the agenda, which is close of the meeting. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, are there any announcements that need to be made at this time? Not hearing anything. I do want to say that April 4th is Easter. So just as a reminder for everyone, it is Easter, April 4th, this Sunday. Today or tomorrow is Good Friday. So just a little announcement here on our calendar. So with that, committee members, can I get a motion to adjourn? Committee members, again, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion, Delegate.
Motion made by Honorable Vince James. Can I get a second? Committee members, can we get a second to adjourn the meeting? Honorable Otto So, Honorable Eugene So, are you still on the line?
Madam Chair, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, Honorable Otto So.
I fell off the horse. I broke green. That's what it I just on the box. Got cut out just right now. Thank you.
Honorable Otto So, I apologize. We already moved on. There was a motion already made on the floor to adjourn. We didn't count you as absent. We knew that you were probably not on the line. But I think it's too late to change the vote. I am looking for a second to adjourn.
Second, Otto So.
Second made by Honorable Otto So. So with that, committee members, we have a motion made by Honorable Vince James, a second by Honorable Otto So to adjourn. Are there any questions or comments at this time, committee members? Not hearing anything. Sherelle, can you assist us with the roll call vote, please?
Okay, Honorable Vince James. Honorable Eugene So.
Oh, thank you.
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Otto So.
I vote green.
Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate James votes green.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton, you have 3 in favor, 0 opposed, 2 not voting, which is including Honorable Madam Chair Charles Newton not voting and Honorable Edmund Yazzie absent. Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Sherelle. So with that, committee members, we're hereby adjourned. It's 4:07 p.m. Everyone stay safe. Have a good weekend. Happy Easter. And we will be talking on Monday, April 5th at 7 o'clock a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.